Hi, I'm Leather Rock. Welcome to my channel. Today, it's already gotten to a start. I'm filming this, it's about 9:30 in the morning on a Friday. I was wakened up, I thought I heard somebody yelling my name outside. Turned out, it was really hot and muggy, and it was too hot to sleep in pajamas, if you get my drift. So, thought it sounded like my name. I very carefully draped something over my top so that I don't, you know, show people what they shouldn't see, right? And I look out my window, and here it was a friend of mine who is homeless and has some health issues and things. And I saw that he had been yelling, I guess, for a couple of hours, woke my mother up, woke the other person that lives with us. Two cop cars, I see an ambulance. So the cops want to talk to me. They want to verify that I know this person. I say, yes, I know him. He's a friend. My friend had, how do I say this delicately? He had another stroke. Apparently, something happened and he soiled himself. In other words, urine and defecation. Okay. Obviously, I can't let him in my home to take a shower because I certainly don't have any clean towels. And since the bathroom with the shower in it is actually technically, supposedly belongs to the other roommate, and he would not have been cool if I had said, look, somebody, this is an emergency, somebody needs to clean himself off. Well, luckily there's a social service agency not too far away, and my friend is currently washing himself. Okay, you know, I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to seem like I have attitudes with my friends, especially considering some of my friends are seriously in need. But it's really early in the morning. I think I'm lucky if I had 3 hours of sleep. Now, I have to, first of all, when this happened, I didn't have any makeup on or anything. I wasn't dressed. I had to throw my hair in front of my face when I was talking to all these cops, right? And they were nice cops, and I assured them this was a friend of mine, but this was also kind of early in the morning for this, and that I was a caregiver to an elderly lady who was also my mother, and the stress and everything, waking her up and stuff really wasn't cool for her. And so, okay, I am hoping that this video that I'm filming right now is not about to be interrupted, because I did put a sign on my front door saying filming in process, blah, 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 which I really don't like to do because I don't like to let strangers or anybody in this area know that I have YouTube stuff, because, whenever somebody finds out somebody is involved with media, it makes people nervous, especially if you've got gang members and that kind of interesting local color in your neighborhood. I certainly have in mine. So, oh man, so now this guy, he's trying to offer us money to stay in what he thinks is a spare bedroom, but is really a room that is full of my clothes. Now, the mice need to have some place to run around so that they don't climb over my clean clothes and pee and poop on them. If my friend lays down in just that very area that I have to walk in the middle of, to get to my clothes on either side, the mice, of course, are not going to want to run on him, so they're just going to get on my clothes. And I'm sick and tired of washing and rewashing my clothes because I have to do it by hand. And I'm literally wearing out my knuckles. I don't have soft hands anymore because I'm always doing this manual labor and stuff. Plus, guitar players will have calluses, even though mine have totally gone away because the nice cops that seem to help some people, some of the people that are homeless occasionally get help, but others are being harassed repeatedly by the cops and by the Department of Public Works here, which calls themselves Boardwalk and Beaches. Uh, but now my friend is going to, I mean, what did he think, that I was going to let him come in here soiled like that? I'm sorry. Maybe I'm not a good enough friend, but there is something about people that have pissed and soiled themselves. I mean, the last time he was here, he peed himself. Let me show you something. Okay, I'm going to have to move this do you see this little fan I have here? He was actually putting it on himself to dry off his crotch. I don't mean to be rude, but when he was here, the place smelled like stale urine for like an hour afterwards. And I don't mind cat pee. Cat pee I can live with. You get used to it. I'm a cat person. Maybe I love cats more than people. Oh, I'm sure I do. But you know what? I'm sorry. One other time he was here and he didn't know how to close our bathroom door. And of course, it wasn't number one that he was doing. Oh my God. I'm sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but maybe I have a problem with human excrement. I think that's kind of normal, right? And that, can you imagine your whole house smelling like, oh man. And so my friend is trying to beg me to let him stay here. He could, in theory, get a rooming house and give them $600, but he was going to give us $500, which would certainly help. But then, once a person's paying rent, they're going to expect to be able to shower regularly. And first of all, how are you going to wash towels? You can't get that social service agency to wash your clothes all the time. They only, I don't know what their schedule is, but half the time when I pass by their front window, they have a sign saying that they're not giving out showers and they're not accepting laundry, and half the time their laundry facilities are broken or whatever the heck is going on. I don't know. But all I know is what a hell of a way to wake up in the morning. And then this is the same friend that I was storing some of his clothes, because I will do that. I have a little bit of space here that I can store things for my homeless friends. They need, that's a real need for people to have, because a lot of times when they get harassed by cops or Department of Public Works or something, the latest thing that I was told by some other homeless people that I know is they separate the target homeless person or whatever, get them from their stuff, take their stuff, take it away someplace, then write out the person a ticket. So not only does a person have the financial hit of having a ticket to have to pay or go to court and try to contest it with the judge. I don't know how exactly they do that, because I imagine judges, I can't speak for the system because I'm not a part of the criminal justice system, because I'm not a criminal and I have always tried my best not to go to jail or get caught doing the things that I did in my misspent youth, which was just minor drug offenses anyway. But the way people are being targeted in this town and in many other cities, you know, why do you have to take a person's things from them? Could be their medicine to keep them from going crazy on people, even though I'm not convinced that psych meds are okay, because people can and do flip on them, including people that I have been involved with in the past, so I have very valid reasons for being against psych meds. I was abused horribly by somebody that was taking them for anxiety. He was on a medicine called Buspar, which is buspirone, I believe, and people can and do hallucinate horribly. And if they have any obsessions or hatreds, they can project them on other people and accuse people of horrible things and do physical and emotional things that are really depraved. And I know, because I had to endure this. So I'm saying, I'm sorry, I don't trust psych meds. I think they're dangerous. Too many people flip out. There's so many other drugs that a person can flip out on. Don't flip out on those. But yeah, my friend that I'm talking about, as far as I know, and I don't know everything about his medical history, but I do know that he has had more strokes than anybody I know. And sometimes when a person is on medicine for diabetes, I don't know what it is, but sometimes people end up slurring their speech and things, and it would make anybody who didn't know this person think that they were under the influence of alcohol and stuff. And this person, now correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're diabetic and you can't handle excess sweets and things, I would think alcohol would be very, very dangerous, because alcohol and sugar and all that stuff. I think alcohol is dangerous anyway. Why anybody still drinks anymore, I will never understand, because obviously I learned my lesson and I quit. But getting back to my friend, oh my God, this is like, I never used to have so many people visiting. Before, I was always too ashamed of how I lived, and plus thinking that my mom wouldn't appreciate it to see uh, people come over and stuff. But sometimes it is nice to have people over, and it is nice to be able to feed people and let people in and out of the weather and let people have a safe place to sleep, especially when jump out boys are going around. Now, you do know what jump out boys are, right? Jump out boys are a colloquial term referring to police that are in unmarked cars, usually some nondescript black sports car. They wear not non-uniform. They try to look normal or even kind of gangster, but they jump out and they say, "You look to me like you have warrants." One time I was coming out of one of the social service agencies just to bring a plate of food home from Mom, and I got treated to these guys. Well, first of all, I know I don't have any warrants. I don't even jaywalk if I can help it, because you get in the habit of jaywalking, then you go to a place like Los Angeles and they do ticket you, and I don't even know what the fine is now. When I was there, if you didn't pay your fine, a month later it doubled. I'm sure it has to be at least that bad. I don't know. Like I said, I never got caught and I never got ticketed. But yeah, what they do is they said, "You look to me like you have warrants." I said, "You look to me like somebody that doesn't know that some of us know our constitutional rights." As soon as I said constitutional rights, they got in that car and they sped off like a bat out of hell. And it's a good thing I was real quick, and I'd been told that this was going on, so I had it halfway in my mind. And again, it helps to know that you, in fact, do not have any warrants or anything. And I know I don't. And matter of fact, the last time my name was run in, it was when I was in Los Angeles, in Hollywood, and I was talking to a bunch of my punk rocker friends, and it was a Saturday night, and a bunch of cops, stopped their cars, and they got out, and they put their guns, and they said, "Face against the concrete." And, like, first of all, this was during the time when the cops on horseback were riding around. And, unless things have changed, they were not diapered and they were just crapping all over the place. And I know horse manure when I see it. It usually has pieces of straw in it. Okay? And I also remember straw used to be under the boardwalk from when I was a little girl here. They used to actually give pony rides, and that kind of was a cool thing. And now we use straw, of course, for the cats bedding, alley cat allies. When they have their homeless cats under the boardwalk, they have straw for them. But yeah, I'm thinking I'm not going to put my face where there's horse manure or any kind of manure. So I kind of got close to it. Luckily, I was wearing a long dress, which I don't normally wear, okay, but I had this long gothic gown. They had a handcuff belt that has a handcuff on one side and a handcuff on the other. And these were real police style cuffs with the proper key that only policemen and security or whoever would need real cuffs, or else the people that like to play with them, because those ones with the stupid lever, the toys, I know for a fact that if you're playing with them on the beach, sand will gum up the works and stuff. Ask me how I know. But yeah, so having dealt with cops before, and when you're in the cuffs or bracelets, like the people on the street like to call them, you're basically a captive audience, and you can ask cops legal information and stuff. But anyway, they put my name and social in, and obviously didn't have any warrants because, well, I know I didn't have any warrants. And if I didn't have any warrants then, I sure as hell don't now. The only thing they could have got me on is smoking weed, and weed's illegal, unless, of course, you get caught smoking outside. And I don't know if they're even making that a priority, honestly. I think they're too busy jacking up people for falling asleep or something. But yeah. What would you do if you had a friend who really had issues and, I mean, I'm sorry, but pooping and peeing on yourself in the house or being shitty and stuff, I can't. I can't. I have my limit. Is it okay to have limits? My mom isn't that messy, and when she is, she cleans herself up. She's had a few accidents, okay, shall we say. She cleaned up after herself, and she told me about it, and she let me know what underwear may have been affected so that I make sure that it's washed in the hottest water and all that stuff. I don't use rubber gloves when I wash things. Plus, rubber gloves wouldn't cover anyway. You would still get water in your hands. They would do absolutely no good. Unless they made rubber gloves, they're all the way up there so you could really protect yourself. And I'm sure they do, but they're probably just for fetishes or something. It probably costs a big bag. So yeah, that was my morning. Never a dull moment. How was yours? Okay. Tell me in the comments how you would have handled this. I'm trying to do the best that I can. Oh, I want to show you this dress. What do you think? I think it was originally supposed to be a man's tank top, extra large. But I saw this, I actually found this outside, and I washed it real good. So, if it's free, it's for me. Oh, and that shirt is Whoops. My Rush Limbaugh thing. Now you see my lighting just started to knock that over. I really need to attach that with a bungee so that it can never fall down. Okay, I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Thanks for joining me in my world.